Good morning, welcome to Jackie Does Keto. This is my granola bar video that people have been asking about. So this recipe, I believe, is vegetarian, vegan, paleo, no bake, and also I'm going to give you some nut-free alternatives if you're trying to keep nut-free or you've got someone in your household that is nut-free and you want to be a bit careful. If you're not already, press that subscribe button and that notification bell below. Let me know what you think as I'm going along as well. What would you do and all that stuff. I'll flip you around and show you the ingredients and some of the alternatives that you can have to make this at home. So this recipe brought about by the fact that I had this granola bar that I bought from Amazon. That I'm not really, I've never been in my life a cereal kind of girl. It's kind of been a meh. Would have rather had things like toast or, bacon and egg sandwich. So I bought this granola a while ago and I just never really gelled with it. I transferred a packet into this jar for air freshness so that it does come like this. And I was like, said to you guys in my recent pancake challenge, I don't know what to do with it. I'm just not going to eat it. What shall I do? Shall I get rid? And you was like, no. Make granola bars. So that is what I'm doing. You do not need this to make these granola bars, I promise you. The ingredients are very straightforward. I'm actually going to read out the contents to you. You can actually make this yourself. I'm going to link this specific granola below for you. It's from Amazon. And I'll try and make it an affiliate if I can work out how to do it. Amazon can be a bit funny about stuff like that. But I will link it below for you so you can find it. But look at the ingredients. These are things you can have at home. So if you do not have this, and I don't think you should need to get it to make this recipe, make your own blend. And this is why I'm saying this can be nut free if you want to. So things like coconut flakes, sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, linseed and flax you can put in your bars. In this particular blend there's also macadamians and almonds, but make your own blend using all the normal nut-free ingredients you like. And also chia seeds as well. I'm going to be adding in some chia because I'm wild like that. And also some coconut. I'm going to follow I looked quite a few recipes online and this one I'm following kind of loosely, mostly for the principles and the measurements, but I'm going to do my own thing as always. So essentially you need binders and you need coconut oil and a nut butter. If you want to be nut free, you can use sunflower seed butter, which I really like actually. It's so lovely, it's creamy, it's delicious. But I happen to have almond butter, so I'm going to have that because I like almonds. So that is your binder, but again, make it nut free if you need it to be. And obviously all these products find you, if you are vegan, find your vegan approved and one that you're happy with to use when you bake. And I've got some vegan keto followers who do want more keto vegan recipes. So I'm trying to bear you guys in mind. So you basically bind up your dry stuff with something sweet. So they have recommended erythritol. If you want to use stevia or something else, use your own alternative that you feel comfortable with in the measurements that they give you. I'm going to leave this recipe below, by the way, so don't panic about copying me or writing anything down. I will link that below along with the links to this as well. And you need some delicious glue to glue it all together. So you've got your butter and you've got your coconut. This is going to be no bake because you pop it in the fridge and it will go solid, and then you can chop it up from there. I'm sure you probably understand the principle of the no bake, just nice and cold. And you also need a flavouring in there. They're recommended vanilla, but I've actually gone with almond because I just felt like it today. But I've got a big bag of different flavourings that I got off eBay very cheaply. And I just fancied almond because I really like almonds. And then it's going to recommend a chocolate drizzle. And again, you use that with a little coconut oil mixed in and melted, and you drizzle it over the top. If you want to use chocolate chips, I probably could have dug deep enough. Keto-friendly chocolate chips for baking. The keto stuff is not as widely available here in supermarkets and things, and I'd probably buy it and it'd cost me a small fortune. So I'm just going to use dark chocolate, which I don't like. I don't like dark chocolate, blah. But I'm going to put a little stevia in it just to sweeten the deal. And you can do a drizzle on top, or if you've got chocolate chips, use those if you want to use them. Make this recipe your own, as I do. And if you don't like coconut, for example, don't put it in. Don't have cheers, don't put them in. Find something else. So I am going to start off first of all with my wet ingredients is how you start this one. So that's going to be the peanut butter, the coconut oil, I believe, and the flavouring. So I think you measure those out, pop them in a bowl. You nuke them in the microwave. This is all microwave. There's no stovetop unless you want to use a stovetop to make your to melt either your coconut oil or your chocolate. You're going to need a pan. I think it said 9 by 5. I don't know what that is. I do centimetres. And I've got this one. It looks like should be okay. This is going to make I think 8 bars, if I remember rightly. Yeah, it's going to make 8 breakfast bars. So this looks like it's going to be alright, doesn't it? And I've also got my grinder here because in this blend of granola, there's quite a lot of chunky macadamias, and I don't want that in my bar. So I'm going to pick out my macadamias and give them a little grind. You don't have to, but I've got my little grinder. If I can find a link to this is really good. It's a bit dirty. You've got a little thing in there for really, really handy, because I can't use a big blender at home because the cats have a little freak out. So, stop waffling. Wet ingredients in the bowl. Let's nuke it. Now, I'm just stirring up my almond butter because it does that thing where it separates. Now, this is a 100% almonds, no added salts, sugars or oils. And I'm going to need 130 grams of this to make the bars. Just check your nut butters when you are buying them, because they do sneak in sugars. They are real naughty. So just do check the packaging, you know, when you do select it. Try to get a natural earth sort of brand if you can. So 130 grams of this is my first lot of wet ingredients, and it's going to be 60 millilitres of coconut oil. Now my oil has melted because it's a little bit warm in the UK. So I'm just going to measure out 60 ml of that as my wet, and then pop in my vanilla. So I mixed them up. I didn't actually need to microwave it because it was so liquidy anyway. And it's said to use 70 grams of erythritol and the granulated type rather than the liquid or stevia or something like that. I have my granola blend here. I've added the coconut in there as well. I've just stirred in the chia seeds too, which you can grind if you want to grind them up first. I did pull out the bigger chunky macadamia pieces, and I'm going to grind those separately. But what would you think? Would you leave yours in nice and whole, or would you chop them up a little bit? This would be really nice as well if you wanted one that included nuts. Things like roasted hazelnuts would be delicious. Pecan nuts just chopped up really fine. Flaked almonds would be really, really tasty as well. So now this is all mixed up together, I'm going to quickly put this now. I'm not actually microwaving anything yet, so I'm going to quickly microwave this just to reheat the coconut oil that's in there, and then I'm going to blend it all up together before putting it in the pan. Blended it up. This is the part where I always panic that I've not put enough like binder in there to make it stick. So we shall see. I'm going to just transfer it into the parchment paper, press it down, and keep my fingers crossed that this is going to go nice and solid. And that is now in the parchment paper. And I'm going to pop this in the freezer for about 20 minutes, half an hour, just to go solid. And then I'm going to come back for the chocolate drizzle. So just a little bit of note about macros. I have not followed the recipe completely, as you've noticed. But if you did, she says 8 portions, you're going to get 2.9 net carbs. And I think, 306 calories, because there's such a high fat content because of the butter and the oil. With mine, because I use slightly different ingredients, mine actually was 3.9 carbs per bar. And 358 calories, but there's 35 grams of fat. So these, you could really consider these to be a fat bomb if you wanted to, because that is an absolute stonker for breakfast. But what you could also do as well, which I should have mentioned, you can make this into little balls. So rather than having a bar, if you want to make smaller portions with like a tablespoon and ball them up and put them out onto your parchment paper and put them in the freezer, you could totally do that. You haven't got to use the bars, whatever works for you. You can even make some sort of clusters or something like that. Just wanted to let you know about the macros there. Mine are slightly different because of the different blend that I've got. But I think by now my stuff's ready to be pulled out of the freezer, ready for my chocolate drizzle. Okay, so this has been in the freezer for 20 minutes. It's really firm, which is awesome. I've made my chocolate drizzle, just simply 4 squares of lint, teaspoon of coconut oil. I'm going to try and drizzle it so it looks artistic and like a professional's done it. And then I'm going to pop it back into the freezer for about 10 minutes, and then it's just ready for chopping and eating. As you can see, I'm not an artist. It kind of went into a big puddle, and I've also got loads left. So I'm going to recommend you downgrade it just to 2 squares and do a better job than I did. But I'll throw this back into the freezer and then get chopping. And there we go. That is a portion. What do you guys think? Does it look good? A very, very hearty, heavy breakfast, I think. I'm going to give this a little taste test, and I'm going to definitely be keeping these in the fridge because of the chocolate. I'm just keeping the cocoa to get the coconut solids, keeping it all in one piece. But this is going to be a very big, heavy breakfast, so 35-ish grams of fat. So, what is the verdict? I've tried it. It's really good. It's so much better than the granola on its own. Really, really rich, really heavy. This is going to stick to your ribs for sure. So I'm going to store these in the fridge, probably reuse that wax paper just to keep them all separate so they don't stick together. But definitely a winner for me. I'm definitely going to make this one again with the rest of that granola. I will leave all the links below, and also I know some guys really liked the fat bomb recipe that I made, so I'll try and find a way of linking it if I can, and I'll put that below as well if you want to make some fat bombs to go with it while you're baking. You could easily make these at the same time, and it wouldn't be too difficult. Thank you so very much for joining me. Really appreciate it. I'm really happy I made these. Thank you so much everyone for suggesting that I didn't waste it and I used it. Hope you have a lovely day, and let me know what you think below. Will you be making these? What will you put in it? And I'll see you soon.